Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Calgary Barbell. Today we are going to answer the question of the week, and this was a response to one of those little question box things on Instagram, and somebody asked about what the qualities are that somebody should look for in a coach. Now, obviously, it was more than 24 hours ago, so the little thing expired, and Dylan's really mad he can't do the phone in hand animation, but here we are. We're going to answer the question anyways. So there are a number of qualities that I think make a really good coach. I'm going to walk you guys through them, kind of explain why I think that applies to powerlifting coaching, and then hopefully you guys can make a good decision if and when you decide to seek out a coach. Now, the first quality that I think is very, very important for a coach is going to be that the coach is knowledgeable. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that your coach needs to have a doctorate in exercise science, but I believe that some level of post-secondary education relevant to powerlifting, psychology, something along those lines is going to be a big benefit. Now, one of the big things that you learn in university and in post-secondary education is simply the skill to think critically. And I think that that is number one on the list of things that makes a good coach. Number two, I think the coach needs to be a good communicator. It's very worth mentioning that programming does not equal coaching. If you buy a cookie cutter program or download our free program, for example, I'm not coaching you. A lot of people message me and ask, can I modify the program? Absolutely, you can. That's what a coach does. I'm not giving away free coaching, I'm giving away a free program. Now, the reason I mentioned communication is because the ability to take input back from a lifter to address that information as it comes up, and then to make changes that affect the course of training is essentially the job of a coach and one of the biggest roles that they play in an athlete's training. The third thing that I think is important is for the coach to be adaptable and flexible. I think there are too many people that have a very strong idea of what they think a lifter should do or what they think programming or training should look like. And I think that gets in the way of smart decisions sometimes. I think a coach needs to be able to challenge their own biases, and I think that it's important that that a coach isn't too dogmatic or stuck in their ways to truly individualize a program based on the lifter specifically. And I think as a coach, that's one of our biggest roles is true individualization, coming up with metrics, training strategies, and essentially a whole philosophy built around how that specific lifter needs to train to maximize their potential. The next thing I think is important is a coach's experience. Now, when you're shopping around for a coach or you're looking at coaches, you want to look at who they've worked with, what they've done. Have they produced lifters of a high caliber? Are you a high caliber lifter? Do they work with a lot of intermediate lifters and get them to the next level? And are you an intermediate lifter looking to get to the next level? So if they coach a lot of lifters that fall into your demographic, another big thing here is whether or not they're coaching tested or untested lifters. I think there's enough of a difference between the two that it's worth examining the main demographic or a number of the clients that the coach works with to try to assess whether or not that coach would be a good fit for you. And lastly, I think that a lifter and a coach's personalities need to mesh. Now, you can look at their social media, you can look at how they approach discussions or debates with other figures or peers of theirs, and that a lot of times will give a lot of information about how the coach will interact with maybe you as a lifter. Having a personality that clashes with a coach can be really counterproductive, even if the coach's training philosophy fits the lifter. If that communication and that sort of vibing and gelling, for lack of a better term, isn't there, then I think that's going to have a negative impact on the coach-athlete relationship. That was 5 different qualities that I think are very, very important to look at and analyze and figure out the best that you can about a coach before you decide to take the plunge with them. So think about that if you're in the market, and hopefully that helps you guys. If you guys have more questions for us, please do leave them in the comments below. I really enjoyed doing these videos, having a little bit of a sort of informal discussion and talking through some of these questions that you guys have asked. There's a lot of really good ones that we hope to get to in the near future. So thank you for that. If you guys like the video, hit like. If you think it deserves a share it around to your friends. Make sure you hit subscribe to stay tuned for more great information. We'll see you guys next time.